And we sure hope that you are enjoying this show so far. Thank you so much for keeping it Alfajiri only on K24. Remember, this is what we do every weekday from 6 a.m. all the way till 9 a.m. And my name is Shiko Kaittany. Karibu sana to our social hour. Remember, you can catch us on our social media platforms. We are at K24 TV on Instagram, Facebook, as well as Twitter. I'll be sure to take a look at some of the tweets coming through our feed, and hopefully I'll be able to sample a few throughout this live broadcast. But that being said, the row over collection of music royalties has actually taken center stage on the Kenya entertainment scene for the past 2 years or so, with the Music Copyright Society of Kenya having been stripped of its mandate back in 2017 due to transparency issues. There has been, more or less a huge cloud of confusion as to who is to collect royalties and whether or not artists are actually receiving payments for their creative work. Well, the governing board known as the Kenya Copyright Board recently made a new announcement and moves on the issue that has left many creatives in the music industry unhappy and definitely ready to take action. And so today we would like to welcome Hubert Nakitare, or Herbert Nakitare, aka Nonini, in the building. He's here with us today. And we also do have filmmaker and producer Virani with us today to talk a little bit more about music royalties and, of course, creatives in general. So, guys, welcome.
Santi, good morning. So
good morning.
Chico,
hey, Niko na maceleblo, Yes, Niko Salama. Nons, I always have a special place for you in my heart because you made my name so popular because you're always Wajiko. Why? I've always wanted to find out, why do you always say Wajiko in your songs? I know you love us, but
it's one song that I said that, and I was actually with the Wajiko in the studio.
Really?
When I was recording the song.
Yeah. Okay, so it's not gonna it's not gonna become a trend.
It was a freestyle with the Wanjiku in the
How
studio.
sad.
But you see, we popularized the name. The name is popular.
It's true, because that's what everyone would say now when they hear Nonini. Yeah, they'll be like, Wanjiku, but that's cool. Thank you very much. So guys, we are actually here to discuss, this ongoing issue about music royalties. First of all, we can also start with your take on the hashtag Play Kenyan Music debate that has been ongoing, and whether or not you feel by the calligraph hapo aliongea. Yeah. What do you have to say before we get into our main discussion?
Let me give a background. I think that discussion of Play Kenyan Music was sparked by the Wasafi Festival. It was sparked when the Wasafi Festival was done, and Naiboy actually performed very well, more than the Tanzanians.
Yes.
So Kenyans online on social media started saying, "Hiya, kumbe our Kenyans can perform better." That's where the conversation started. Then Calligraph added fuel to the fire now with his video on Instagram. So yeah, it's Play Kenyan Music. We support it. We want our people to play our music because we tour around these countries. We go to Tanzania, Nigeria. Absolutely. These people play their own music and they don't care about anything else. That's what they are. They're patriotic to their people, and that's why the musicians are making it worldwide. Yeah, by the way, that's true. What do you have to say about that, LG?
Well, one of the most important things is we like to appeal to the government to enforce the 60-40 local content law, because it's not gazetted. I'm made to understand, and it's currently not being enforced. And there's so many other things that we'll talk about where we find some of the things irregular. I find that in 2019 we've woken up, the artist sector has woken up, and we have basically better civic education, for lack of better words. People are trying to understand how does government handle our matters, and I think as we progress with this discussion, we'll delve deeper into the issues. Yes.
Okay, all right, so over to this situation, and it has become so murky, it's so confusing to the point people don't really even understand what's going on. So guys, I'm going to ask you to be a little bit patient with us so that you can take us back to the roots. Pole, because we're like, what's going on?
But I'll tell you this, it's confusing because people want it to be confusing. It's actually being done purposely.
Okay.
Yes.
Look at this. So MCSK has its license taken away in 2017. Fast forwarding, here we are in July of 2018, where the court actually squishes the decision by Kenya Copyright Board to license Music Publishers Association of Kenya, Mpake, to collect and distribute royalties on behalf of copyright holders. So it kind of favors MCSK at this particular point, saying that they can continue with their work. But then you've got artists there who are for and against it. You have the Kisumu Bar Owners Association who are completely against MCSK. But then you have artists like David Amunga who are actually for MCSK being part of it. Then here comes Kekobo saying, defending themselves, actually saying that no, MCSK's license was not renewed and so we couldn't work with them. And then when you move over now again to September of last year, look what happens again. Now you have musicians saying that, by the way, it is only MCSK who can collect our royalties for us. No. In fact, it was very wrong for Kekobo to push Mpake down our throats. Yeah. So we are happy with that. Now here we are to current day. We're looking at another article here that talks about Kekobo actually licensing MCSK to join other two societies, more or less, or bodies, to actually collect royalties. Yes. What is going on, Nons? I mean, this is, it just even sounds exhausting.
One, let me say this. We are not against MCSK. We are not against any corporate society, be it priest or camp. What we are looking for is accountability. And good governance. So if a society was deregistered or delicensed the previous years, there are conditions set by the regulator for them to get a new, to be licensed. So if those conditions are met, we are comfortable. We have nothing against MCSK. But my question, and our question that we've been asking all this time, the conditions that were set for 2017, were they met? Has the regulator shown the industry that these conditions were met? These people collected money from 2016 to 2018, and no distribution has been done. 2017, after they were deregistered, they still continue collecting money illegally without a license. Distribution has not been done. Can the regulator show us whether they've met the condition to get this license? Again, we are not against MCSK. We're talking to the regulator, because if the regulator does not adhere to the rules that he set, then it's chaos out here.
Okay. Now, you were actually heading the Performance Rights Society of Kenya at some point.
Yes, I was a director at some point. I was a chairman, and I resigned as a chairman because part of my board went against the regulator.
And that's even what I wanted to ask you, because now here you are as the Creative Society of Kenya. Now you're in
I'm the chairman. I'm the chairman.
Now you're the chairman.
Society of Kenya.
Yes. So you've left PRISC. Why did you leave PRISC?
My term ended. My term ended because a director serves for 3 years. You can choose to be re-elected for 2 terms. But I tend to feel we need to leave that space to the young people, because most of these directors in these CMOs, they want to serve for 6 years. Give these young people a chance to also come serve and feel how it is to be in governance of your own organization. So I stepped out. My term ended. I didn't want to go for re-election. But now I'm in an association, which is the Creative Society of Kenya. So the Creative Society stands for the creative sectors, be it music, architecture, IT, and software. I chair that board.
So maybe you can give us a background into what Creative Society of Kenya is all about, your mandate, LG, so to speak.
We are an umbrella body for associations. I think one of the biggest struggles we have for especially young people trying to form associations is the rules and regulations are pretty strict. And you asked for several documents, and the process can take several months. And the government also realizes this, and yesterday I know it was mentioned in a arts meeting, Creative Council, Economic Council meeting, where people from smaller groups were encouraged to join bigger groups. And I think that the Creative Society of Kenya properly fulfills this gap in the system. So other smaller groups, like we have the National Folk Dancers Association also joining. We have Music Producers Association also joining. From different sections of the country, so that we can be able to have a national representation. And that's probably one of our key mandates.
Okay, back to this issue of MCSK actually receiving their license. The Kenya Copyright Board's Executive Director, Edward Sigei, said that, by the way, MCSK has actually met stringent conditions and went through rigorous vetting process that included public participation to secure their license. Nons, they were told that as long as they hold elections, restructure its management, agree, this is the part I like, agree to a forensics audit into their financial records of the last 2 years, then no problem.
So number one, have we seen that audit of the financial records? Number two, these conditions you've given them, they have to change their board.
Yes.
So that they have a new board that looks all nice.
Yes.
The older board, the things they did, what happened? Where's the money? Where have you heard in that statement that money has been distributed to the musicians? End of the day, the musicians matter. Yeah. Forget the board restructuring.
Yeah.
Where's the money that was collected before we move ahead?
Yeah.
We need to know what happened.
Yeah.
Kama ilienda tujue ilienda.
Once and for
steps
all.
have been taken.
Yes.
Kama iko tujue iko, inadistributiwa. We need to know. The musician comes first.
Right.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
We're looking at hundreds of millions of shillings.
Yeah.
We're looking close to 1 billion shillings. So
close to 900 million.
Yeah, we're looking, and we're talking about, you know, that kind of money, and the MCSK has 13,000 members, for example.
Yes.
I'm surprised that so many musicians are clamoring for the, you know, for MCSK to collect on their behalf. Yet, in my own personal life, I don't see too many musicians getting that money. So I'm wondering what exactly are the motives of the people who are clamoring, who exactly they are.
Yeah.
And one of the big thing about the public participation is that they're a little bit of a farce sometimes, where I think it was established at the last public participation we had a couple of weeks ago at Kekobo, where we can't use attendance to a public participation as a means to validate irregular processes.
And plus, if I can add on that, this thing called public participation, they usually pay people. We usually hold this meeting at a place called NHIF building. It's like a small room. It has about a capacity of 300 guys. So you find the people who are paid, so like half of the room is just people making noise.
Not genuine,
so I think that's public participation.
Right, right. Yeah, no. And how do, because you've just mentioned a figure as to how much has probably disappeared. And I know when it comes to distribution methodology, it's very new to those of us who are not in the game. We don't understand how distribution goes and how royalties are actually paid. Yes. But how are you able to come up with that figure and you know that that's how much money has disappeared?
Because it's money that is collected. You know, when licensing is done, as a part, when I was in the CMOs, we have agents on ground and we have an account. So when money is not paid in cash, money is paid through M-Pesa or a check. So when it goes into the account, you can account like how much has come in for 2017. And then another problem comes in. The regulator condition is we have to distribute 70%. Even when I was a director, it was impossible. We've been trying to distribute 70%. As when I was a director as Prisk, in our organization, we tried so much to make sure we meet 70%, but we never did. MCSK, now the organization that is even collecting even more money, has never been anywhere close to 70%.
Wow.
Anywhere. A lot of the money used to go for distribution. You're collecting 300 million and you want to distribute like 30% of that amount. Really? It doesn't make any sense.
It's not really
70% needs to be distributed and adhered to. So those are the conditions set by the regulator, even in 2017. And all the 3 CMOs never even met those conditions. We want the regulator to be more serious. That's where we're making noise.
So we need to see the audit.
True. And also I would like to add, I mean, I find it very unique that in this country we have private limited companies collecting on behalf of the public and distributing the public. So we have
limited by guarantee.
Yes, so we have companies that are limited by guarantee who fall under the Companies Act of this country, collecting money from the public.
Yes.
And not even be able to properly account for it because, as Kekobo says, stringent measures were put in place, but they didn't provide the forensic account. So it's, what's happening at the regulator is a little bit dodgy. We are also aware that there is no board currently sitting at the regulator, and it's the board's mandate to execute, to execute all of this regulation.
Licensing, the board has to give it out.
And we are wondering how that's happening. The board and its line ministry, the AG's office, are not publicly providing any information about how they're coming up with these rules. I'm finding it very strange that Mr. Sigei has managed to give you that information, half-baked, and seems like no one questions it, not the artist. It makes it to the news.
People are just going with it.
Yeah, people just like, hey, Mr. Sigei said that. You know, he's the CEO of Kekobo. That's the law of the land, isn't it?
Okay. Well, let's also ask our viewers to actually participate in an ongoing discussion. We are going to be taking a look at some of your tweets. Remember, at K24TV on Twitter. What do you have to say to Nons and also also Elchi, who are in the building as we talk about music royalties especially, and figuring out what's happening, you know, when it comes to the music sector. When are these artists actually ever going to get the money for their work? Well, that's what we're on about today. But that being said, guys, one of the issues that you actually have as a creative society is the appointments of some of the key players in the new MCSK, so to speak. Because Desmond Katana, who was a board director in Kekobo, is now a director at MCSK. And then we have David Mureithi, who was announced to be the chairman, the new chairman of MCSK, but was also part of, or rather was a board director at Kekobo. And you say no.
Let me correct that first statement. Not as creative society of Kenya, no. As musicians. As musicians. Because we're seated here as musicians. Yes. So, we have a small issue because, first of all, let me show you. Just pass this to you. This is an announcement that was made by the Kenya Copyright Board. Right. When they say they've licensed the Music Copyright Society of Kenya, Camp and Prisk. Yes. In the second page will show you also they've said that they've appointed a director, former director of Kekobo, to chair the board of MCSK. Okay. You wonder, first, the letter is not signed. Okay. The letter is not signed by the executive director. Right. It's and just a print. Yes. And it was put on their social media. So that's public. It's in a public space. Yeah. Okay. So today, if you ask the CEO whether they've licensed this organization, they'll tell you no or maybe yes, because that letter is not signed. Yes. So first of all, you're creating confusion into the market. Yeah. Secondly, after that letter came out, it came out on a Sunday. On Monday, an announcement goes out again on the same social media space of Kenya Copyright Board that they are holding public participation for the 3 CMOs, Camp, Prisk, and MCSK, to discuss tariffs. Yeah, so already there's a letter that is not signed. And then on Wednesday, the next week, you're holding public participation to discuss tariffs. Yes. You're fast-tracking things so fast. What is the hurry? Yeah. Wait. Lazima tuulize maswali. MCSK is back, okay, fine. The rules that you set, did they meet them? Tuzione kwanza as an industry. Araka iko wapi? In the public participation, also businessmen came. Yes. Because the users. Because these are the people who consume our music. They're the most important people because they pay for the music. They came there. They said no. Actually, that meeting was made null and void. Because why are you hiring? You didn't even engage the stakeholders to discuss these tariffs. You're coming to impose a tariff, boom, because you want things to move and you're on the ground collecting money. No, it doesn't work that way. So in your opinion, they're just trying to sweep things under the rug and hoping... Well, you know, everybody does have the right of reply. And unfortunately, we weren't actually able to get a representative from Kekobo to be on this particular set to answer some of these questions. We also had got in touch with David Mureithi, for example, who declined to be part of this interview, but he managed to give a statement to K24's Alfajiri. And, you know, he went on to say that he has not officially been appointed as the interim chairman of MCSK, and that announcement by Kekobo was actually premature. Because he said he has not received any official communication via letter, and his position has not even been gazetted. Oh my goodness. Now you see the kind of chaos and confusion that is happening. That's a director, that's a former director of Kenya Copyright Board. Trying to denounce that same letter. And then let me give you another background. When this announcement was made, we had visited the Ministry of Sports, Arts and Culture, and my friend Virani here can tell you more about that. Virani Chocha.
Yes, I'm meant to understand. We had a meeting with the minister, Mr. Rashid Echesa, from Ministry of Culture and Sports, who expressly wanted to be involved in this matter because you know, he represents the interest of artists. It falls under his docket. And he made us understand that he spoke to Mr. Segei from Kekobo, the CEO of Kekobo, to halt any announcements concerning the collection of royalties and the licensed bodies. And Mr. Segei openly defied him. And Mr. Echesa, the minister, the CS, was livid. He was angry. He was like, I don't understand. I asked, you know, my juniors to hold back and at least brief me so that I understand better what's going on. And so we as musicians, as members of the sector, you know, we're wondering how far and what are the motives of certain sectors of government, and why they're different with the motives of other parts of government. We wonder how far does this run? What is the emergency? Coming to the emergency, I would like to bring in just a perspective. this is a license, just like a business license or any other license, right? So it takes, once you pay, it's for 1 year.
Yeah.
So what is the emergency? Whether the business pays in June, they still have to pay. Whether they pay in January 1st, they still have to pay. Whether they pay in December, they still have to pay.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering what is motivating the emergency to fast track all of these processes and to make so many irregular choices without even explaining them to the public and stakeholders. We're very confused at the moment. Yeah.
So that's because you feel that they don't want to account for the previous years.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
Clearly, there is no intention to.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I'm just wondering, even as artists, do you feel like there's some level of, disconnect amongst you guys as a group, so to speak?
Yes, there's a disconnect because now you'll find there's another voice saying MCSK Kosawa, MCSK Kosawa, they don't care about the facts on the table. And those are artists who are, let me say, the people who lead this organization prey on their ignorance, prey on these people not knowing the facts.
Yeah.
They want them to just be their sycophants, their fans. We are behind, we are behind, They don't want to give them information. Now we're in this interview so that this information gets to people. They get to know.
That there's a problem.
Yes, there's a problem.
And on the flip side of this, I'd also like to give a big shout out because I'm an actor too. So Kenya Actors Guild have been pushing the hashtag Actors Tariffs KE, also addressing issues like how come their tariffs were not included in the tariffs that the Camp Priski and Bomb presented in their public participation. And I made to understand a letter was made in the last 24, 48 hours, public again, showing that the actors' tariffs will be included in the tariffs. Yeah. So that just shows that although we are a divided community, that slowly and slowly people are coming together, and there is more awareness of how we are governed, I believe.
Yes.
There's more people want to know exactly what is happening and how it's happening, which was not there in the past. Yeah. Kindly remember, MCSK have been there for 34 odd years.
Yeah.
And they've had a tumultuous relationship with the members for almost the entire 34 years. Yeah. And they've still been licensed. So I'm wondering what has changed. In fact, one of the comments that the vice chair makes is Mr. Desmond Katanda himself, who was also a member of Kikobo board, keeps saying, hey, I'm also a musician. I've not been paid. But I'd like to join the organization that doesn't pay me. Yes. So I don't pay others as well. I don't understand what the motives are. Yes.
Yeah, and the same people are the same ones resurfacing. Even
again now reborn you're from the regulator. Yes. Now you sit on a board of a CMO.
Yes, conflict of interest.
Yeah, I kind of find it's not. You see, of course, as a musician, you have every right to. Even me as a small MCSK, you have every right. But morally, you are the regulator. Then you're now here. You're back to the board of this thing. You're regulating. It looks bad. It looks bad.
And the issues involved makes it confusing. So how did you regulate a body that kept breaking the rules?
Yes.
Right? Yeah. And you are licensing them.
Yes.
And then they keep breaking the rules because there's no evidence been presented that they are not breaking the rules.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you join that body.
Yes. Very quickly, let's clear the air on a few things because we actually do want to see what guys are actually saying on Twitter. Okay. We've got one from Pepper5 actually asking you a question, Nonini, but we'll get to that in just a minute. But let's clear the air on something. There is talk around town that the Creative Society actually plans to become a CMO, a collective management organization. That the reason perhaps you have decided to speak against or maybe have an issue with MCSK having its license renewed is because you feel that you can do a better job, by the way, as artists. You'd rather just be the ones organizing your own royalties and you will pay yourselves.
First, let me say that's totally ridiculous. Yeah. Because Creative Society of Kenya is a society for the music sectors, not just for different sectors, for the creative sectors, not just music. So music is part of that sector. So we cannot say we want to be a CMO. We represent many people, architectures, like I say, IT and software. So it's ridiculous to say we want to turn into a CMO. So secondly, we're not against MCSK. We're against all CMOs, Camp, Prisk, MCSK, Mpake. We want accountability and good governance. And then we want the regulator to do his job and to do his job very well.
When you talk about actually having, all creative industry-related functions under the Ministry of Sports, Arts and Culture, LG, how different do you think this is going to turn out when it is under that docket? Because, fine, you want it moved here. Do you think that ministry is going to deliver
Yeah, I believe that the government of President Kenyatta has been working very hard to be able to get the public service to actually serve the public. And there's evidence that there's a lot of progress. I can imagine from when I was younger to now, where it is that I can even go into a CS's office and have a discussion. I think when I tried that 10 years ago as a younger man, it was pretty much more difficult. So I have confidence in the government's desire to make things better. And we can look at best practices. Countries like the United Kingdom have a special ministry for culture and arts. And I don't see, since we have examples of how it works, I think it will properly work. There's no problem. Right now, many of our aspects, you can see that Kekobo is the Ministry of AG's office. When it comes to regulation of content played by broadcasters like yourselves, that's in ICT under the Communications Authority of Kenya. So we are all over the place. You can see the CMOs are under Companies Act. That falls under trade or industry, I may imagine. And we would like that most of the key issues that relate to artists and culture to be under one umbrella.
So it will be more organized, you feel, and more streamlined.
So, more streamlined.
Okay. Nons, you have taken this issue to the highest office. Rumor has it you are actually knocking at State House's door. There have been talks with the likes of Big Ted. At Pepper 5 actually says, kindly ask Nonini if the meeting with the president to be organized Big Ted is going to happen.
First of all, I want to commend His Excellency, President Uhuru Kenyatta, for coming in. Kuja kutusaidia hivi at the time. Mali si ufail ni sisi kujiorganize. When he says, I want to see you guys, we have to be organized. Si kila mtu anaweza ingia State House. So I also want to commend Big Ted. Big Ted has been trying and is doing his best to make sure this meeting happens. And yesterday was the first meeting, just preliminary to make sure who are going to this to meet the president. First of all, he wanted to know what associations are in Kenya for musicians. So jana tulikutana town pale Nairobi Cinema for all artists. So different organizations came, they represent artists, they represent who, he wanted to know who they are. They come with their memorandum, they come with their agendas. What do you want to talk to the president about? Because if we all go together, it's chaos. So they'll put all this together and then call us again for a second meeting. We discuss these agendas. By the time to with His Excellency.
You know, you're coming before you have a plan.
What's our quick wins? Nakuna kuingia hapo kufight nini will be so focused.
You have to have one voice as you're going forth. Listen to what Mike Mushai actually goes to say. This is like taking a cow to the slaughterhouse. It's taking itself to the slaughterhouse. Too many scandals and embezzlement of funds in the music industry. It is a terrible idea for MCSK to get its license back.
Yes, I like that comment because even in one of our agendas we presented yesterday, we want government to come in. I've been in the CMO world. I see how it operates. We want the government to come in. We have a single entity appointed by the government to collect royalties for musicians, collect royalties from all these users, and then give the CMOs for distribution only. Because MCSK has members, CAMP has members, PRISC has members. We make sure there's a single, even PAC has members. We make sure there's a single entity that is appointed by the government. It collects money for musicians, then distributes each and every right. If MCSK is right, here's your portion. PRISC, here's your portion. Distribute to your members. Then we can hold them accountable. Right now, it's kidogo maki.
Just adding on to the accountability.
As we wrap up.
Sorry, adding on to accountability. This is a country where we have so much technology. In Africa, one of the top countries where we pay through e-citizen, e-payments. We can do our tax returns online. And we are struggling here with accounts, with thousands of manual accounts and receipts and invoices.
So
outdated. And licenses.
Manually.
So we are struggling to understand why certain sections of government like Kekobo and CMOs are insisting on an outdated system, yet the rest of the country is moving on. So
they
what
need
are the motives?
to digitize their systems.
Absolutely.
When I was a director, licenses by agents were printing their own books because it's invoices. So once his book is done, he's printing another one and collecting money and pocketing.
And killing trees.
Yes.
Okay. We've been asking that question on Twitter. Do you think that the music industry should be under the Ministry of Sports, Culture and Heritage? Pretty much all creative related issues going under that particular ministry. We still have our ongoing poll on Twitter. Go ahead and let us know what you think. How do you guys think the public can actually participate in this as we say goodbye? What do you think we should do? For those who are on the outside looking in, how do we participate?
I think, first of all, the businesses, the matatus, the broadcasters yourselves should engage the Kekobo system and ask them to account for the monies that they're expecting to earn from, to get from this, from the public. So you should never pay for a license where you don't even know how it's being used, and there's a public record of misuse. So it's important for Kekobo to get its act together. It's important for artists, upcoming artists, young ones and others who are coming to the industry, to understand how the industry functions, to understand how it is governed in Kenya. And so I think what has happened in 2019 is that there's growing education on what needs to be done. And we'd like this to continue more and more. We'd like more and more people to participate in the discussions. One of the biggest issues in many African countries is the public do not participate in governance. This is your government. Those offices are there to serve you, and you have a right to ask questions, and you have a right to be answered. It shouldn't be that you ask the question and things are just done and no explanations are given.
Let me paint a picture. All these things are interconnected. So the public, number one, needs to request for our music, play Kenyan music, make sure the music is played. If the music is played, there's an organization that's supposed to collect royalties for this music, right? So this music is played in public space. So let me talk to the businessmen, the BMOs. They have to ask questions to these people who are collecting this money. Number one, don't pay for a license and you don't know last year the money you paid. Even a broadcaster, if they paid millions last year, they better hold these people accountable. How much did you distribute last year? What was the percentage? And how much did you distribute to the artists? So that means this year, I'm very confidently paying this money because it's going to the artists. Nikienda kwa government, kuna mtu anaitwa CAK. We'd like CAK to help Kenya Corporate Board, to all the broadcasters pole hapa ndangila kidogo, accountable as well, you know, because broadcasters have logs of what they play. We have to make sure these logs are presented back to the CAK, to the industry, so that we know what is playing. If they meet the quota that is supposed to be of 60%, CAK needs to enforce this with us. Tutashukuru sana. That's my parting message.
All right, Sawa, you've been in this game for it's a long time coming. It's about time. It's about time.
Kakiru ingie.
Kakiru, Kachai. I'm thinking about the days when you came out with Mamanzi or Nairobi and looking at you now, and it's been a while.
19 years now.
Check your name.
Legendary.
All right, the legendary Nonini in studio with us, and of course we want to like to thank filmmaker and producer Virani for also taking time to be with us to talk to us about music royalties and of course the needs for our creatives in this industry. It's about time. So we want to wish you gentlemen all the best.
Thank you.
Let us know how it all goes, and of course karibu tena to K24. It's time for us to say goodbye. My name is Shiko Kaittany, and on behalf of my co-host Sarah Teshna, Jeff Mote, and the entire Alpha Jury crew, thanks a lot for tuning in, and a big thank you to Longonot Place Apartments for hosting us this morning. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow. It's a Hangout Friday. Bye-bye.